and tonight on Late Nights on the Lazar channel, we'll be looking in depth of families and personal lives in Europe in the mid-16th to 18th century. How interesting. We will be talking to lots of people to get a really good understanding of how life was compared to today. First off, we'll be talking to two peasants who fell deeply in love and wanted to get married. What is your story?
It was quite hard to get married, actually.
Yes, I remember very clearly.
My lord, we wish to get married. May we have your permission?
Is that so? I will grant it, on a couple of conditions. Do you have stable finances?
Yes, I have a stable job as a craftsman.
What about you?
Alas, I have no job.
A woman must have her own fortune to bring a marriage as well. Otherwise, how can a marriage be equal? Family must be upheld by self-sufficiency. You cannot live with your parents, but must establish a separate household. If you cannot sustain yourself, how will you sustain both you and your children?
Although I have no job, I have skills I can use at home. I can make clothes and feed children. I can teach the children too, imparting our society's values.
Please allow us to marry. We are mature, responsible adults.
Please.
All right, you may marry each other. But if you come looking for welfare years later, know that I will not give it to you.
Yay!
I now pronounce you peasant and wife.
Wow, it must have been very hard for you two to get married. Thank you. Now we will be talking to a 15-year-old girl, Anne, and we will be getting to know a little bit about her life. Hello, Anne. Can you tell me a little bit about your 15th birthday?
Well,
Come in. Hello, young lady. I'm Madame Celine. Are you here for the job of the servant?
yes, ma'am.
And what is your name, girl?
Anna, ma'am.
I see. Well, I'm not in need of any servant right now. May I refer you to my friend?
Yes, ma'am. That would be lovely.
He runs a guild down in Paris. Should I send a letter to you when I get called back from him?
Yes, thank you so much. Oui, mademoiselle. Merci.
Yes, run along now, girl.
Oh, it's Anna.
Out!
Okay, bye.
Anna, darling, you have a letter in your name.
Oh, that must be the letter from Paris. Right now? Immediately? Mother, I must go.
You can go, darling. Bye.
Bye.
Sit down,
Oh, my name is Anna.
and you shall address me as master. Now sit down.
Okay.
We are currently short of workers, so you are to work in my guild.
Oh, thank you so much.
Master. It's thank you so much, master.
Master, thank you so much, master.
Better now go down to where the others are and get to work. If I see you slacking, my guards have permission to whip you bloody. Are we clear?
Yes, master. So, yeah, that's how that went.
How upsetting. I'm glad you were able to get out of such a terrible situation. Well, now please welcome the Chouchou family. So you two are a lovely couple. Tell me, Madame Chouchou, how exactly did you two get married and start a life together?
Well, back in our days, we used to get married at a very late age. So when we were young, we wanted to satisfy all of our needs while we could.
Oh yes, I
So I was a prostitute.
Wait, what? You didn't tell me this?
Oh dear, our first date was at a brothel. Don't you remember?
I thought it was in a restaurant. I mean, it was so fancy. It had a bath and everything. It was so sophisticated. How could this be possible?
It so happened that a couple of weeks later, our parents wanted us to get married.
In our times, there was usually a lot of pressure to get married and stuff, and having a child before marriage, that was a grave threat to the village.
Yes. We used to have these rituals called charivari, where the young men of the village would force the victim to sit on a donkey backward holding its tail.
Oh yes, it was quite humiliating, but very entertaining to watch.
Where are your manners?
You're the one smacking me!
You're so immature. Don't you know how hard it was for me to raise our children?
Well, the kids must have had it hard. I mean, me being the embodiment of perfection. Poor things, they must have had to be under a lot of pressure.
Now, Madame Chouchou, tell me how it was like to work as a prostitute at your time.
Do tell me. I mean, you have been keeping it from me for the last 25 years. You...
Well, most of the prostitutes were working women who had no choice but to turn to this trade when faced with unemployment. There were harsh laws against them, and if they were caught, they were liable to imprisonment or punishment.
Did you get any
money from it? No, I came from a poor background, and so were most of the other women. We earned enough wages to survive. If I were rich, I wouldn't have been here stuck with you.
What'd you say, woman?
I just said that courtesans had wealthy protectors that served them with apartments, servants, and fashionable clothing. But their careers were very short, and they would often become poor. Oh, and disease was also very common.
And birth control kind of sucked, which kind of resulted to our first child, Mary, being a surprise.
Papa!
Oh, you child!
Oh, you both sure have lovely families. Tell me, what were the policies for homosexuals at your time?
Was more lenient with nobles and rolls. As long as they married and produced legitimate heirs, they're kind of fine.
But most male same-sex relations were prohibited, often under pain of death. Same-sex relations were also common with women, but they drew less attention.
Yeah, in the late 17th century, new homosexual subcultures emerged, and a new self-identity began to form among the homosexual men. They started to believe that they're a separate category of men created by nature.
The traditional tolerance that existed for homosexuals faded, and along with the Enlightenment, several critics started to attack the cult of immortality.
Oh.
Ah! Come here, kid. Don't be too hard on him, Collie.
Now we are going to talk to a single lady who lived in the 17th century and was pregnant. So tell me, how was your experience with pregnancy?
Well, I remember it very well. I believe I freaked out in the beginning, since becoming pregnant without being married was a huge no-no back then. And I remember going over the possible options I had.
I think I have a human in my stomach. I haven't had my monthly visits for so long. Oh, this is what I get for having a small fling. Me as a single lady, I'm gonna bring such shame to my family. What to do?
Well, I can have the baby and maybe give the child to a wet nurse. If I give the baby to the wet nurse, the lady will be able to take care of the baby, but I'm scared that the baby will not survive. I've heard that the conditions in wet nurse houses are terrible, and the children will get sick, and the nurse will have a very high rate, and I cannot afford. No, giving the child to a wet nurse cannot be an option. Therefore, I must think of other ways. How about I kill it? I can smother the child and throw it away during the night when no one is looking. Or I can deliver it in secret, maybe, but that'd be too risky. Or maybe I can hide it, but again, that would be too risky. And imagine if someone found out I had a baby and tried to get rid of it.
Buckets!
Oh, I would be killed. The most logical thing for me to do is give the child up to a fostering center, since I will not get in any trouble by the government, and I'll be allowing people to gain charitable net by doing such. Also, the child will be better taken care of without me. Honestly, even if the chances of the child joining another family are very slim, at least there's still a chance. The cons are that the child can die because of disease and malnutrition, since some fostering centers are very poor. Honestly, this is the best choice for me. I hope all goes well. Indeed it was. I just hope the child has survived and is living with a good, suitable family.
Tonight, we have a father and mother who will tell us their experiences and stories of raising children. Mr. and Mrs. Dupont, tell the viewers how you managed to develop such a lovely family.
Well, I can definitely say that it wasn't easy, but I can also say that the experiences that I've experienced have made me a better man.
That is astonishing to hear. And Mrs. Dupont, why don't we hear your thoughts?
Yes, I do agree with my husband. We knew the consequences of having children and the likelihood that they would die at an early age, but this didn't stop us from trying. Sadly, my first two children did die at infancy.
I'm so sorry to hear. How did you and your husband ever recover from this devastation?
It wasn't easy, but we tried again a year later, and a beautiful baby girl was born. We named her Savannah.
Wow, you are so brave for making that decision. I believe it must have been very hard for you considering you had limited options and that your situation was complicated.
Yes, it was a wonderful moment. I later gave birth to a boy named Victor, after another two of my children died at young age because of the plague.
Savannah and Victor are here with us today. Why don't they come out?
Well, my mother has taught me my future domestic responsibilities for when I'm married and have children.
Yes,
Victor, what are you learning?
My father demands me to wake up at 5 a.m. and exercise. After that, I am taught practical craft skills with rote learning.
Have you done anything naughty, Victor?
Well, this one time, I was beat for stealing a fidget spinner from the little boy that lives next door. I am so sorry, Father.
It's okay, as long as you have learned from your mistakes.
Thank you, DuPont family. There we have it, a typical family in the 17th century. Now we will be interviewing a couple, Louis and Eva, about what life is like with their new baby daughter and how they feel about their upcoming wedding. Oh, juicy. So how did you two meet?
It was like love for first sight, really. The moment our eyes met, we knew we weren't meant for each other. After weeks of waiting, he finally asked me to marry him.
Ah, how romantic. You young people nowadays always end up choosing their spouses. Not like I did. How did you guys decide on having a child?
Well, you see, he already had proposed to me, and we didn't want to wait because we are so in love. We decided that it's fine to have a child before the wedding. Everyone else seems to be doing it the same.
Yeah, it seems to be that way lately. Louis, what is your opinion on the increased price for food and housing?
He can manage with us. It's fine. Money is not a problem.
Yeah, about that. I think it's best if we see other people. It's not you, it's me.
On that note, I think we should end it here. Hello, you may be wondering how the spread of elementary schools changed in the 17th and 18th century in Europe. Or you may be wondering how accurate your aim is to throw a pencil at your friend's eye. Now, regardless of your intricate thoughts, you're going to spend the next few minutes watching my narrating skills be put to use as I bring you along the journey of the increase in public schools throughout Europe. Now, the spread of elementary schools is mainly religious, and the idea that many kids should be able to read the Bible correctly.
Oh!
Yeah, and the spread of elementary schools also led to an increased availability of kids being able to learn outside the home.
Look, these trees are green. I can learn.
Good for you. Now, many kids learn all sorts of different things. Many subjects, such as arithmetic, literacy, needlework. Now, the wealthy.
Wow, look, I'm rich!
Led many colleges and educational institutions throughout Europe. Now, enough of me talking, time to you to observe how different countries built upon these ideas.
I am so happy that there are new charitable acts that are helping education for the poor.
Through our scriptures, my children have reached salvation in their Presbyterian lives.
I am Madame Blanc, and I am excited to present Jean-Baptiste de La Salle's Christian schools, and we currently have 35,000 students.
I'm so glad that we get to go to school for 6 hours every day, despite it taking up a lot of our spare time. Go Marie Curie and all of her edicts.
See, but at least we don't have to go to school from ages 4 to 17 for like 7 hours a day.
Yeah, wow, that would take up a lot of stress. That would take up a lot of spare time and be really stressful.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would feel like.
Now, hopefully you've learned and listened to the spread of elementary schools throughout Europe. And that means that my job here is done. Now I'll leave you to find a way to take that pencil out of your friend's eye. That is our show tonight for family life in Europe during the 16th to 18th century. I hope it leaves you with a lot to think about. Join us next time on Late Nights on the Lazar channel to play an interesting game called Estimate How Many Women Henry VIII was involved with. That sure ought to be a laugh. See you next time.